Another ayahuasca episode. Welcome to the Paradise Paradox. I am Aaron Battle, and in today's episode we get to go deep with Kurt as he reveals more secrets of the ayahuasca world. This is his second adventure into ayahuasca, and he comes out with some pretty interesting messages, pretty interesting revelations. Better yet, pretty interesting ideas, which through his interpretation we can all implement, or we can all reflect on in a way that could make our life a lot better. So, messages from Kurt the Psychonaut. Dedication. Okay, dedication to your life, to your purpose. The idea of living towards a greater thing than yourself, or living to yourself, committing yourself to your own life. Now, Kurt likes to write, and his ayahuasca adventure, this is one message that he got amongst many, that if you are a writer, why don't you dedicate yourself to improving that skill? I mean, that's if writing's what you want to do. You guys can do anything, everything, anything you want. But how many of us are actually dedicated to one goal, one purpose, or even just being the best you? Okay, so, maybe there's some people listening that think, okay, ayahuasca, these boys talk about ayahuasca a lot, or, drugs in general. But, it's all about just understanding more about yourself so that we can break out of this shell that you might call yourself and become everything that you are supposed to be. So, before we get into it, have you guys been to Steemit.com? Now, this is a content platform where everyone that's involved gets rewarded. So, that's a good idea. Get involved and get rewarded for the content that you create, the content that you upload, and just the way you interact, whether that's upvoting, or whether that's re-steaming, or whether that's just leaving comments. So get amongst that at steemit.com. You can check out all our stuff at Paradise Paradox. I think there's a dash in the middle there. Just jump to the website and get the spelling, or check out the show notes. You can check out my work at BattleAZ. You can also get Kurt at ChurtZoo, also in the notes. Check the spelling. Have you guys been buying our t-shirts? Have you bought a t-shirt yet? That's probably the better question, because we have some great t-shirts on the paradiseparadox.com. That's our website. Go to the top, there's a tab, PP t-shirts, where you can buy t-shirts. They get delivered to your house, and then you can put them on and use that chest space to advertise an idea that you might feel is worth advertising. So there's a couple ideas up there. I want disclosure, which is very cool, because we're at that time again, and aliens, they're supposed to be turning up any minute now. So put that up and get the message out. The government's got to share these ideas with you and the neighbors. Or real money. I hope you've been stacking silver. I hope you've been saving some money in real money, gold, silver, and Bitcoin. So it doesn't even need to take up space anymore. You can put it in the cloud. It's very cool. Buy a t-shirt and check out the show.
Let's get into it.
So I wanted to tell you a bit more about my ayahuasca trip this year, to 2016. So my second ayahuasca trip, the second installment in an exciting journey towards the realms of the unknown. And
well, you made it back, so that's a start, because
that's true.
It is a different world.
Right. Yeah. The first time I took it, I was worried that I would never come back. And yeah, I was thinking about that the other day, because I wonder how much courage did I actually have? Because I thought, this going in, I thought this could be it. Like, maybe I'll take this and I will be fucking nuts, and that will be the end of me. And, my body will be left as this babbling, semi-lifeless husk that just moves through the world like an autonomous fuck, I can't say that word. Automaton. Yeah.
I don't even know what that is. You have
like
to
a
explain
robot.
it to them.
That's what I'm
okay.
saying. I would be like a mindless shell of a human being that just ran on its impulses and muscle memory or something like that.
Well, I'll tell you what, I feel like that a lot. Sometimes it's like, what's going on? And it's funny because when I said, it's like another world, it is, but I forgot what it was like. That week beforehand, thinking, what happens if something happens? Like, brain chemistry is very sensitive. What happens if I have a complete flip out? I mean, these. I don't even know why I think that would be an option. Like, I don't know anyone or haven't really heard of any stories where ayahuasca is the trigger point for someone's, absolute brain imploding,
Right.
which leaves them as a slug or something. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that happening yet. It was a big consideration because I was 1 year married, and I thought, well, it's a bit early to leave a relationship, but it could happen. It's like I'm not me anymore.
Yeah. I don't know if I've heard any stories exactly like that. After we took it the first time, I did hear Alyssa Hawke told me a story where she was on an ayahuasca retreat or something, and a couple of the travelers offed themselves. And I assume what happened was they... obviously, ayahuasca helps you confront your pain and confront the kind of person you are. And I guess for some people, that might just be too much. Like, they don't have the courage to look at the man in the mirror, in the eyeballs, and see what he really knows. So, maybe there is that risk. And that's a problem, too, because these things have been... illegal or shut out of markets for so long that there isn't a whole lot of scientific research, so we don't really know what the risks are. But I guess in some sense that's like most things in life. Actually, you don't know what risks you're taking when you walk down the street or cross the road, or you don't really know. You don't have an actuary there with you to stack it up and give you your odds on survival.
But I mean, you can't put a couple cups of ayahuasca in the same category as getting in the car and driving to work in the morning. It's like that's.
I don't know.
There's
you?
risks.
I don't know. There's risk with everything. That's the whole weird thing about it.
Well, you said there's no research, so we would never.
Well, I
know.
mean, there's a little bit of research, but it's not like we have a long, decades long studies about it or anything like that. So we just, we are rolling the dice a little bit, but we don't know how much we're rolling the dice. On the flip side, we could say, well, shamans have been using these substances for thousands of years, so actually maybe this has a longer established. It's not a history that we would normally consider scientific, but it is a kind of pursuit of knowledge which has gone on for thousands of years. So maybe in that sense, they're more established, more well tested.
See, that's definitely what I pretty read to convince myself that it's going to be okay. Yeah, and obviously the benefit of the ayahuasca sold it to me. There was no way I wasn't going to do it once I realized, like the positive breakthrough winning stories of people that went in and said, this changed my life for the better. And then I thought, not that my life's bad, but I could do with something better. Well, everyone wants the next level. You know, everyone wants next, up, better.
Yeah, or gain a fresh perspective, see things from a completely different angle.
Yeah.
Yeah, or like we were talking about in that previous episode, how when you have bigger ideas, you get a bigger perspective, and that enables you to see further, like standing on the shoulders of giants.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just to, before you jump into your experience and what you got out of your last, well, the second half of the last ayahuasca trip, this idea of standing on the shoulders of giants and being able to see the bigger picture, and just, I mean, that allows you to connect the world together better. You got your own, I mean, your perspective is taking in so much more information or data packets of the universe that you just, it feels like you just find shortcuts, or you just find the easier track through, or things just click. And I mean, on the line with ayahuasca, I'm really interested in like results from like microdosing LSD. Like so interested that I might even look at doing a personal study.
Yeah, well, you should. The risks are very low, like as far as I can tell. I've done a few microdoses. I guess I did about 5 or 6 with LSD, and it's pretty cool from what I can tell.
Okay.
It makes you feel. Well, it's better than taking a cup of coffee in the morning.
I used to work with some guys.
It peps you up a lot more than that. Yeah.
That used to. I don't think they were microdosing. I think they were just dosing before work, and they were the happiest guys to work with. Like,
but also the most incompetent, or what?
No, I mean, well, this is the thing. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't even know that would be an expectation for them, but their work was very simple. They were just picking up glasses and sweeping floors.
Okay.
So, they were having a great time.
Yeah, that's probably a good job for it.
That, and they're in the dark, and there's music blaring. I mean, nightclub life.
Yeah.
But it's like, how? Now I look at them, and me being the security guard is like, you are crazy. That's cool, Just get your work done. Yeah.
Well, it's kind of funny because, if you take something like amphetamines, you take a decent amount, I suppose you'd measure it in milligrams, milligrams, I suppose. Like, I don't know how much you take of amphetamines, but you take quite a lot, and it affects your body quite actively and peps you right up. LSD, I mean, not many people would actually class it as a stimulant, but it does. I mean, if you take LSD, even as a microdose, you probably won't be able to sleep for 12 hours. Your mind will probably be very active. And I'm not sure if I think I mentioned this to you. A buddy of mine told me that I should do this as an experiment, take 75 micrograms of LSD and have a whole bunch of amphetamines on standby. So every 3 hours, I pop an amphetamine and I can stay focused on writing. So after 12 hours of writing like nonstop, my brain gets rewired. And then, within a couple of weeks, I'm some kind of writing monster.
Yeah, you're writing 24/7 in idea generations to the max.
Yeah. So, it sounds a little wacky, but it also sounds like it just might work.
So have you done it yet?
No.
As far as I know, you're still writing a whole lot. I've
slowed down a bit in the last couple of weeks, but I don't know. I don't know what's going on in my mind. I need to just sort my shit out and put my shit in a bucket and fling it out the window and send it to the shit store. Anyway, I need to get writing again.
There's some weird things going on at the moment. I mean, those are the closest full moon was last night, 14th of November. Yeah, it was like the closest it's been in 72 years or something like this. It was a significant event for people that look at the stars and follow the moon. And so I went out, I mean, because they always date this stuff in American time. So, like US dates. And so I went out last night and it was just cloudy. Couldn't see a thing. Like, big glow, like big sky glow, but I couldn't see anything. And the night before, it was the same deal. I was kind of, because I mean, I thought if the moon is half as close again as normal, and I mean, you know how good these cameras are these days. I thought with the 150 times zoom or whatever, 70 times zoom, I don't know, 90 times zoom, I should be able to get something. And if I can get some clarity on the moon, then maybe I might see something. Even just like a UFO flying past, I'll accept that.
Of course, yeah. Why not?
Because I mean, okay, I've become a believer. Recently.
In UFOs or in what? In anything?
In everything. Since the peyote trip in the desert of Waldi, San Luis Potosí, I realized that there's a lot going on up there that the average human mentality can't capture. So, when you absorb substance of alternate capacity, then all of a sudden things start revealing themselves to you. And I thought, well, now that I've got it, similar to like the ayahuasca, how you've taken it and it works for a longer period of time. Like it might have, like, this stuff's still working for me, and it's been over a year since I've drank it. So yes. It's interesting how something like literally changes your, I don't know, energy makeup. It changes the way you function on levels that we don't even know. So I've done, I've tried ayahuasca, I've experienced peyote. So I'm like, if I just sit there really quiet and just say, I'm cool, if I'm not going to tell anybody, I'm just going to take a video and share it with the world, then maybe a UFO might turn up.
Yeah, I guess they just might.
I'll say please, just for niceness.
With a little luck. Yeah.
But it was cloudy, so game over. Didn't get a chance.
Okay. You didn't take a little cheeky drive out of town to see if you could get a better angle or anything?
Well, I wasn't sure how far I'd have to go because it was sprinkling. It started raining. Like Australia's moving into summer thunderstorms. So I thought, I don't know how. I didn't check, the weather or anything to find out, how far I need to drive to get out of rain. But maybe it could have been worth it. But it looked cloudy for as far as the eye could see.
Yep. Okay. Large impermeable cloud cover. All right. So let me get into the second chapter of my magical journey of destiny. So. So I mentioned the first two parts or the first two movements. The first one I was seeing a lot of extraterrestrials and talking to extraterrestrials. So the second one was very pleasant, a lot of fractals and interesting closed-eye visuals and visions, very pleasant dream-like state. And then the third movement was. I took a second dose, and I think it's true what they say. The more you take, the shittier it tastes. Because the first time last year when we took it, I liked it. I thought it tasted like cranberry juice concentrate, or kind of like that very unpopular energy drink in Australia called Mother, which is Coca-Cola's third triad and energy drink, which totally bombed because it tasted like tart berries, but I liked because it's something refreshing and different. But
Yeah, that's
But
the
this time
original recipe, right?
Yeah, the
Is it-
original one. Yeah,
Because
before
now it
they-
tastes like some kind of Red Bull mix.
right. It just tastes the same as any other energy drink. Yeah.
Yeah.
Still, I mean, the first one, I think they had Lift Plus, and that just, I mean, it looked and tasted like laundry detergent, and I was like, what the fuck are you thinking, Coca-Cola? Like, just release Coca-Cola energy drink, and you'll be everybody will love it. Oh well. Anyway, this time tasting it, I was like, knock it back, and I'm like, like you know, with a strong shot of rye whiskey, you know, that varnish tasting, brewed in a bathtub type shit.
Yep.
It didn't taste pleasant, but you know, that's comparatively easy compared to the 10 days of diet that lead up to this journey. So anyway,
How much did you drink? Because the first time it was just like a big shot, but now, I mean, I get the idea you drink more, a similar amount.
A similar amount. So it's, you know, they put it in, I guess, like a caballito, like what they call a 2-ounce shot glass. Mm-hmm. And the first time we took it, we told the shaman, it's my first time, and he served us a half shot, so like maybe an ounce. But this time, you know, they gave me the full 2 ounces. I guess like a caballito. So yeah, in total, I guess I took about 4 ounces of the brew. But you know, it's not really a good measure because I guess some brews are more potent than others, and sometimes the bottom of the barrel has got the best stuff, or I don't know. There's all kinds of variables that go into it, so it's not like
it's tricky because I mean, really, it's that act. I mean, I went because I wanted an actual experience, like out of my mind experience, and for that, it's you just want the concentration of DMT, don't you?
I don't know. Of what you mean, like as if you were smoking it?
Well, I mean, if you're smoking it, as far as I've never done this. As far as I know, it's, you know, speaking from what I've picked up, and in a few movie references, it's like you a tiny amount, you smoke it, and it's like direct reality liquidation.
Yeah, if you take enough, yeah.
So I mean, I don't know how concentrated ayahuasca is. I'm assuming it's a very low dosage.
Right. Well, no, I don't know why you would want to have it like just drinking like 70% DMT or whatever. No, I don't think that's desirable.
You never drank cordial straight? Just for fun? It's like, let's see what happens.
A little Coca-Cola syrup or something.
Says add water. Nah, water's for sissies.
Yeah, I'm sure I've done that.
Anyway.
Anyway, yeah, I took a similar amount as last time. So, because last time I took like three shots of 1 ounce, and this time 2 shots of 2 ounces, something like that. So, okay, so yeah, so then after the second part, I was like, oh, it looks like ayahuasca is going to be like more soft, more smooth with me. And of course, I was completely wrong. The third movement kicked in, and it was like this scolding. And I probably set myself up for a bit of a bad trip, or a worse trip than it needed to be, because my mind was very active, and they told me that we were going to, after the ceremony was finished, we were going to go through the circle, and everybody was going to tell their journey. And so I kept thinking about that, like, how am I going to explain this to people or something like that? Which it didn't put me in the greatest mindset for it. And then then I forgot what I was going to say. But the point is, I was analyzing things, and I guess I was resisting things, and that didn't help. So every time, ayahuasca is like throwing this criticism at me or whatever, I'm like, well, no, it's not like that or whatever. Well, I just should have said, okay, well, that's I'll examine that later.
Yeah, show me more.
Yeah. Like just accept it and move on. So let's see. Don't believe what every voice in your head tells you. So that was I guess that's a pretty good criticism, because I guess I was rationalizing things to myself. Like I was even watching that episode the other day, and I said something like, well, I sleep in, it's my luxury. I sleep in an extra 2 or 3 hours a day, and it's my life. I do what I want to. No, it's fucking. Yeah. I mean, that's bullshit. And that was just like some idea that popped into my head, and I was like, oh yeah, I guess that makes sense. But no, I don't need to go along with that. I can, make a different decision. Let's see. Another thing was, be careful with the girls you see. So be clear about my intentions, because if I make girls think that I'm so really interested in them or something, then it's going to lead them astray, and there's going to be unnecessary heartbreak. And the interesting thing was, I was like, hang on, I mean, aren't you going to like show me a bunch of shocking visions from girls' perspectives, like how I broke their heart or something? And ayahuasca was like, no, look, we know you're a good person, but you just need a little guidance, and just need a little reminder. So we don't have to show you that stuff. And I was like, wow, thank you.
It was that easy.
Yeah.
I just put your hand up. Put your hand up and say, I'm a good person. I don't need to be punished. No worries, Kurt.
Not in that moment. Yeah, but it's never about punishment. Not exactly. It's just about getting this other perspective.
Oh, well, then maybe you're evolving. So your subconscious is like, we're already aware. Why I'm not going to drill it into you, as in you don't need the reflection or the perspective. Yeah. It's like you already have it.
You don't need to see the pain that it can cause. You know what it can do. So just be careful. That was the thing. Then came this weird part. What do you think that people think of you? That's the question. And this is kind of a weird question, because I mean, why is it phrased? Why would it be phrased like that? Because I mean, for me, the important thing is normally not my reputation. My important thing is who I am, what I do, because that's what I can control. I can't control what people think of me, but I can control my own actions. I can take care of that. But this is, I don't fully understand if this is a valuable perspective or not. But it was asking me questions like, what do you want? What do you want people to think of you? You want people to remember you as a fucking science fiction writer? Is that what you want? And I was like, why are you being like this, man? What's wrong with being a science fiction writer anyway? But
it worked out pretty good for Hubbard. Yeah. But I said, okay. So this is kind of like this old self-help exercise. What do you want people to write on your obituary? What do you want people to say in your eulogy? What do you want people to write on your epitaph? Because that's going to be the summary of your life one day, and you better
you better give them the opportunity to write something pretty fucking cool, right?
Yeah, of course. Totally.
So you know, I guess this is the way to look at it. I have to give them the opportunity to think these good things about me, or to think these, you know, whatever I want them to be. So I have to align my actions with that. Then it was, I mean, it was pretty harsh. It was even saying to me, like, you know what your fucking friend, what's his face, thinks of you? He thinks you're fucking nuts. What do you think of that? And I was like, well, I don't know.
Wait, this is crazy. I mean, that's pretty heavy. I mean, you know, this is kind of like early high school trauma, right? Like, I'm thinking, like, I mean, you and I'm pretty sure we're well past, you know, what little Joey thinks of us.
Right. Well, I hope so. But, you know, I think things come up apparently, and even, you know, after that, I asked what's his face what he thought, and he doesn't think I'm crazy. Or why is my subconscious, or why is ayahuasca trying to tell me that people think I'm crazy? I don't fully understand that, and I guess part of it was because I was resisting this message, and it's trying, like, hey, pay attention to me, like, listen up, you know, is that what you want people to think of you? That,
you know, I hate to burst your bubble, but I mean, you know, I think I know you're crazy.
All right. Okay. Well, that's good. That's good to know. that puts the whole thing in perspective then.
Good.
Yeah.
So the next time you want to go do ayahuasca, we should just do an episode about we can pretend to be ayahuasca for each other.
I don't know if well, we can try that.
It definitely won't work. My imagination is not that powerful.
Right. Yeah, no, your knowledge of my subconscious or whatever. Yeah, that makes it a little difficult. It could be an interesting exercise, though. Okay, then with this other thing, and this seems like a small note, and I don't know what exactly the end of this is, but the phrase I've got here is, you don't know why people do what they do. And it was, I had these couple of examples bubble up, and it was specifically about two of my ex-girlfriends, conversations that I was having with them, where, especially one where an ex-girlfriend of mine was being very cold and, like, shut off, like I would ask her a question, or, you know, it wasn't like I was trying to get into her pants or anything. I just wanted to chat with her and see that she was okay or whatever. But every time I ask her a question about what she's doing, and she's just like, "Oh, it's good," and I was like, "What's?" I guess I didn't think much of it at the time. I just thought, okay, maybe she's in a bad mood or whatever. Who knows? And I don't know. It's like, am I supposed to take responsibility for that? Like, am I supposed to take responsibility for the way people are acting around me, or, you know, how am I supposed to somehow be like this mind reader who knows what that means? And I mean, you know, I'm okay at reading minds sometimes, but picking up on people's intentions, but that's not something I can do 100% of the time, and that I can't know exactly why people do what they do all the time, or can I? Maybe I can. I don't know. I mean, what's the point of this fucking lesson? I don't know.
Yeah, it sounds like. Yeah, I actually got quite a bit of thought on this, and I mean, it's interesting that lesson came through. Because,
yeah, okay.
I mean, if we jump back to an episode about making magnetism your bitch, you should recall that. It's like this idea
like
that
hacking gravity, hacking magnetism, understanding it thoroughly rather than just manipulating it on a surface level. Yeah,
and then looking at, you know, when you look at somebody, you can only see a reflection of yourself. Like, of course, there's a lot behind the scenes, but really you're only, I mean, looking at this, 4% of reality, and you're only looking at what you notice or what you can relate to in this person. So, I mean, jumping forward a little bit, I could even think that when you look at somebody, they may not even be the same human being as you, but you look at them and they fit into like the human being, structure or format. It's like, your brain's unable to process anything outside what you are, and they're a similar level of consciousness as you. So all of a sudden your brain goes instantly, bam, human being, and there are two eyes and a face and head, arms and legs, and there we go. That's another person, and we just accept that. And what got me thinking about this was they did an experiment where, I can vaguely remember how it goes, where they were able to connect up electrodes to the brain of a cat, and they're showing the cat different pictures, and and it went through and just they were able to analyze. I mean, it wasn't in any great depth, detail. I mean, imagine a low pixel black and white picture. The thing was, when it came up and they showed the cat a picture of a human face, the cat saw a cat's face. So it's kind of like, there's something there where this universe is, an Alex Gray painting of just infinite in macro and microverses and, of fractals of reality. And I don't know, maybe you can control how people feel around you just by making sure you've assessed how you feel about everything around you.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's a possibility, but I don't know how I would do that on a practical level.
Yeah, I don't know how to make.
Where do you start?
Yeah, well, this was the issue we had with magnetism. Like, I'm ready to fly, I just don't know how to reverse my poles yet.
Yeah, right. You just need to point all your gravity directionalities up. That's all you have to do.
Yeah. Well,
might take a bit of practice.
Where I'm not there yet. So
cool. Okay.
My feet are very heavy on the ground.
Yeah. Well, it does make me think about that, like, when you're wrestling with someone and you can, like, if you want, you can kind of make yourself more heavy. But how the fuck does that work? Like, that doesn't make any sense. I guess it's, well, it seems to work. I mean, it does. That's what it seems like when you're wrestling with someone and they just go dead weight. But it's just like they're not going with any of the movements that you're making or anything. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, okay, that's like a thing you experience when you're in wrestling, because you have the intention of making yourself heavy, and then you have the feeling that I'm heavier now and you can't lift me. I think if you look at activity wise, then maybe you can fly, because I think it's quite common that during yoga or meditation, it's like, I'm so light right now, I'm just going to take off, and I swear I was levitating for a bit. Like, I've had people say, Aaron, I was levitating, last week in meditation, and I'm like, I'm sure you totally were, all in your head.
Sense.
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm sure you were able to isolate the weight of your body, and you weren't feeling any of that, and you were just able to levitate. Unfortunately, I'm still pretty sure that your butt was on the ground.
Yeah. Well, I think I mentioned before how in the Hatha Yoga Pradipika, it goes through and it lists like about 10 or 100 superpowers. I don't know if it specifically mentions levitation, but there's probably something about it in there. Anyway, next point. Let's see. You dedicate hardly any time to your real work. You write more in a day than most writers do in a week or month, which is, I think that's true. Imagine if you actually dedicated yourself. If you want to write, go ahead. So the thing is, I mean, a lot of writers, songwriters, artists, they'll say stuff to me like, well, I only write when I'm inspired. And I'm like, what the fuck? Do you want to stay like at the same level you are? You want to have the same, like, just your natural level of writing? Because that's what you're going to get if you don't write every day. Which, I need to take that advice right now.
Yeah, so do I.
Momentum beats motivation. But, I can get up, wake up in the morning and write 2 or 3 pages of interesting ideas. But what would be cooler is if I write like maybe 20, 30, 40, 50 in a day. And I'm perfectly capable of that. So why haven't I ever... I feel like I've never actually pushed myself right to the limit and say, all right, no holds barred. Even when, like, back in the day, when I was, picking up girls or, like, going out to clubs and meeting people, gaining confidence and all this kind of stuff. And I would go out, like, 3 days a week, and I would never do, or almost never do day game. It was all in nightclubs. And so when I saw girls in the street, I wouldn't approach them. And it was like, why didn't I push it to the limit? I mean, I guess I did go out like every night for 30 days or something, or 20, 30 days on a challenge. But I feel like I never really pushed myself right to the limit. I never really threw myself right into something. And why, that thought's been on my mind for years, but I've never actually, I still never done it.
So
and
this came to you through the ayahuasca? And how did it present itself to you? Or this is just a thought?
Well, this is just basically what I just said, that I don't dedicate any time to my real work, or hardly any time, like maybe just an hour or 2 a day.
That's the assumption that writing is your real work.
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, at least for now. I mean, things change. Yeah. Yeah,
that's tricky. Well, I mean, I don't know. Did you have any insight on why? Because or no. why you're holding back? Because this is everybody. This is everybody. I mean, yes. While I was in Mexico, I didn't really feel like I was holding back. Well, I justified one step at a time, and then you got people that like give you confidence in what you're doing is okay, because it's like what's that silly saying they have, poco a poco.
Yeah, little by little.
So it's like, I'm doing a little, and that's the way to win, because tomorrow I'll do a little bit more, and I'll do a little bit more. But it's good. I mean, it's good. I mean, it's like they say, it doesn't matter how slowly you go, as long as you don't stop, because you're gonna get there. And I guess there's something good about that, because at least if you do a little bit a day, at least you improve a little bit, you get a little bit done, and you keep going, and that's worked pretty well for me in life. So maybe. With your day game stuff, you never thought, to do day game as well, that would step it up?
No, I did. I thought it would, but I didn't have the balls to do it. So you convinced yourself that you were satisfied with just, 3-4 nights a week, which is still pretty committed. Yeah, it's pretty decent amount of hours. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I guess to some extent, I convinced myself that was enough. And it was, it was enough. But maybe it wasn't everything. Maybe it wasn't, putting my heart into it.
Because this is kind of what they try and inspire you to do when you join a network marketing group.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
like, you need to
Every
really,
time you go out, you talk to people. It's a way of life or whatever.
yeah.
Recruiting is a way of life. Yeah.
Yeah, we somehow convince ourselves that, I spoke to this person and that person and those two people, and that's enough for this week.
Right. Yeah. 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 But that, it's so funny, the perspective that I have on it, because when I would go out to clubs, I would see, like, most nights, like 80-90% of nights, my wingmen will be there with me, and they would see me walk right into the club and go, all right, fuck it, I'm going
Let's do
in,
it.
I'm going in dry, I'm going in raw, and I would go up to, like, the first girl I would see and start talking to her, even though I didn't necessarily feel like in the mood to talk to anybody, and they'd and have this reputation of, like, an approach machine.
Yeah.
But then, by my own standards, I'm, like, letting myself down. Like, I'm not really throwing myself into it, which is, it is bizarre.
See, I remember that guy quite well. And I also remember the reactions of the crew, the rest of, this is going back 8 years or so.
Yeah.
And it was very impressive. Think about who we are now and who we were 8 years ago. We were kids, I wasn't even comfortable in the nightclub scene at that point. And,
Right.
and it was kind of like, going to school on your first day. You'd walk in and you'd hide at the bar, or you go lean on this wall, or you look for just out of desperation. It's like, come on, give me a table or somewhere to sit so I'm not out here, so I'm not in the open. And then I turn around and where the hell's Kurt? And there he is, waving or helloing chicks.
the retard wave.
Well, man, as much as that's how you want to describe it, you got to tell me it's a good icebreaker, because it wasn't like you walked straight back over. Like, you could have been gone for extended periods of time. And oh shit, okay, where's Kurt? He'll be right. It's like, but everyone knew Kurt could fend for himself. Like, at the end of the night, it's not like, okay, I'm giving A, B, and C a lift home, and if Kurt wasn't with us, that wasn't a big deal. And not because we'll ditch you.
I think you're exaggerating.
I didn't go out with you that many times, but I remember going to King Street. And,
I remember that night.
And I think, I think he did very well, considering our age and our company. Yeah.
And I remember I got a Russian girl's phone number, and I got another young lady's phone number, and I remember I fucking fucked up both of those first dates. They were awful. But got to learn somehow.
Exactly. But the thing was that was so impressive was that no one even is like, because no one would even, I don't know, maybe they did. You can correct me now, but nobody asked me, I don't know if anyone asked you why you're doing what you're doing. I know I did. And we had conversations about it. I didn't even think that getting coaching in that area of picking up women was even a thing. Like, I was so naive. And you're like, oh yeah, I got, you want to do something good, go to find the best and learn from them. And I was like, that's genius. How come no one ever told me this?
Yeah. But you and Benny were out there, and it wasn't like you were just a couple of wallflowers.
No, we didn't really struggle.
Happening. Yeah. Good times.
Good times.
Yeah. Let's see. So, imagine if I could, like, write for 5, 6, 7, 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day, like a machine, a writing machine. My life would probably be very differently very quickly. Even, I cut down on my teaching hours for a while because Steemit was going well. And I was making, sometimes hundreds of dollars a day on Steemit. But I would be like, all right, well, I put one article up for the day. That's my 500 words, and that's it. I'm like, I could have put 3-4 articles up a day if I'd applied myself. It's weird. Like, why do I have such a low standard for myself? I mean, a low standard, what seems like a low standard to me, which maybe for many people would be a high standard. But gotta keep pushing. Like, make it make it count.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you said, sleeping in, I'm going to jump back here. When sleeping in a couple hours, like, stuff it, who cares? It's my life. I do what I want. I need these extra hours of sleep. Which is, when you said these ideas aren't even yours, why is it that good ideas are so easy to claim as yours? Like, step it up. 5 articles a day. Screw it. Put it up. Do it. Maybe they're not all the best articles, but they're 5 articles a day, and I'm going to put them up there, and I'm going to keep putting up 5 articles. Like, how do you know that's like, how is it so easy to commit to that idea? Or to say at least, let's do this.
It's not easy to commit to that idea. It's not easy at all. But I mean, in that case, the idea isn't the important thing. The point is, if you actually do it, that's what counts, and it doesn't matter if it's your idea or not. Like with the fucking pet rock. The guy who invented the pet rock, he was out in a bar with his bunch of buddies, and they all, they were brainstorming this idea. But he was the one who actually did it. He wrote the book, he made the rocks, and he got rich. They didn't do shit, so it doesn't matter who came up with it. What matters is who did it.
Yeah.
So, who transformed that idea into a 3-dimensional space form
thing.
So yeah, a space form thing. Yeah, that's right. Let's coin that term. I claim that idea. So another thing was about old friends. So sometimes I think about, like, trying to get my old friends back into my life, because they were a part of my life for such a long time. Yeah. And I think that means something, and that's, still a part of me, and that's important. But the message was, well, these people have their own lives now. And that's, they have their own thing. They've gone off on their own path, and maybe once you were close, but people grow apart. That's what happens. And I was like, well, how, I want to help these people. And Mother Ayahuasca said to me, I know you do, baby, but you can't save the whole world.
Why not? That's our motto. That's what we're doing right now.
Saving the world, one world at a time.
Well, this is why we started the podcast.
One world at a time. That's the point, right? You can't save the whole world. But you can save the world for somebody.
So did you accept that, or was there more to it?
Well, I probably have to think about that. But I mean, the other part of the message was, love is many things. Love is letting go. Letting go is a part of love.
Yeah. You know what? That's too big for me to capture right now. Only because I just went blank. Like it's like I've never considered that, and I still don't know what the application is in this very moment.
Yeah. No, neither do I. So what else? There was a lot of twitching. I don't know what that was about, but it was like, at one point I thought my body's like twitching, my hips are going back and forth and like undulating, and like I'm doing some I don't know, some Shakira dance or something while I'm on the floor. And I was like, is my brain like downloading new dance moves? And it went on for a while. And sometimes it was like I couldn't even control it. But maybe I should go out dancing and see. Do you need to take a break or something?
No, it's okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Dance moves through ayahuasca?
Maybe. I don't know, but it was just an unusual experience to have my body moving like that. But yeah, I mean, maybe it ties back because the first time I took ayahuasca, it said to me, "Hey, why don't you dance anymore?" Because these kind of these sensory experiences, these flow experiences, the times when you can get right into something and forget yourself, those are really these magical moments. So that was an important message, and I need to make effort to remember that and go out to nightclubs or something.
Yeah, that's totally true. I mean, I've always enjoyed flow. I've listened to a few podcasts on how to obtain it or how to increase those moments where you get flow. It's almost like this direct connection to the bigger version of yourself, which is just complete freedom.
Yes.
So yeah, that's definitely a takeaway.
Yes. Do you ever feel flow while you're dancing?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
That's one of the main reasons why I kept dancing, and even took it up semi-professionally at one point. And I like to again. It's just excuses and routines and time, and then finding a comfortable crew. I'm sure. You can do it yourself. You don't need to go to a dance class, but I also enjoy the social aspect of it as well.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, okay. Let's see. Then another point was about my peyote experience. So I've told this story probably 10 or 20 times now, talking about how I went into the desert and met aliens. I had the experience of going out in the desert, of meeting aliens, with that fine distinction. And the question was, well, how much did you actually see? Or how much did you actually experience? And how much was your interpretation? And upon some further reflection, of course, after telling the story so many times, the lines start to blur even more. But there was when I tell the story, a lot of the time I would use the words, and my interpretation of this event was X. But I probably wasn't. If I'm really honest, I probably didn't go far enough in saying what was my interpretation, because there was, a lot of it was my interpretation, and maybe I'm like, I could have, maybe I just saw a few lights, some weird visual hallucinations, and some, my bodily twitching and these few other visual effects, and then I pieced it all together to make this story about aliens from Altair, but what really happened, I don't know. Let's see. Well, it ties into this next point, which is about identity. So, lately when I've met people, I've told this story about peyote and aliens and stuff. And so if the first thing, the first conversation you get into with somebody, you tell the story. Where are you from? I'm from Australia. How old are you? I'm 32. What are you interested in? I'm writing and I'm working on a podcast, and I teach English, and let me tell you about this experience of peyote and meeting aliens. I had this vision, or this feeling of like there's a board with 6 plates on it, and you can like swipe those plates in and out, and those 6 plates make up your identity. You have like these just 6 stories that you tell, and that's who you identify as right now. And there's this weird contradiction because at one part of the trip, I'm getting this idea like, hey, don't believe every stupid fucking thing that comes into your head. The other thing is you can choose your identity. You can slip what you want into these slots, and why not? I mean, but this is I don't know how to get to the bottom of this, because sometimes I have these ideas like, hey, you tell people you're from Australia or whatever. Why do you do that? Why do you tell people you're 32 years old? Is that really a thing? And I'm like, well, I guess that's a thing. But you could tell people you're from fucking Mars, and they would believe you. They would maybe they wouldn't believe you, but they'd accept it. Okay, yeah, that's crazy. Kurt, he says he's from Mars. I could just tell people that if I wanted to. Why don't I? Maybe I construct a whole past, rewrite my past like David Copperfield, and tell people a whole bunch of things. I mean, I could do that if I wanted to. And is that what this reality is really about? Or is that just a fucking fantasy? And I don't fucking know.
Okay. I mean, okay, I'm going to throw out a few things to you, and we can try and nut this out, because I can see I've hit a very interesting. Well, I mean, you've nailed it. This is what we. Okay, I'm just going to throw this out, and we'll play with it like Play-Doh.
Yep.
I'm looking at this, like I just drew a little picture, a little square with 6 sections in it, and I'm imagining like 6 plates, and here it is. This is you. This is your tombstone. Like this is what you did. You grew up in Australia. Right. You lived however many years, a long life, a short life. You lived your life, and you achieve this level of education. You achieve this level of physical interaction, different sports and whatever. Like I don't know how people want or need to be something. But the example that we have is a resume. Everyone puts in their resume, and they put their name and address and whatever at the top, and then all of a sudden it's like a little summary of what you've done so far in your life, and then you've got these blocks of like work experience, education, and then at the end you might have like interests and hobbies and extra awards or something you might pick up, and that's you that you're happy to give to someone. A white piece of paper with bloody black smudges all over it. And this is like a representation of your life professionally. And you leave out all the good stuff. Like, you left out that time you went out to the club and you picked up the hottest chick there, and within half an hour, and all your friends stayed there, and you went back to her place, and you didn't get back home, it was Friday, until Monday morning. Half an hour changed, and you went straight to work and said, what the hell happened? Best weekend of my life. That's not on my resume, but that's what all my close friends remember. You know what I mean? Like, so my point is, we choose to tell different people different things.
Yes,
it's like I've got a point in my life that I'm like, no, I'm one person, and if I'm going for a job and they ask me, no one has yet, which I'm a little bit surprised about, but they say, Aaron, we had somebody. HR intern look at the Paradise Paradox. They've gone through, and we've identified that you are a loose character, and you indulge in psychedelics. You talk about mind expanding experiments constantly, and our main concern is that you're not going to be in the country for much longer.
Yeah,
and you're applying for senior executive at whatever auditing firm, and I'll be like, well, where do I start? Really? I mean, I could be the best person ever that you're going to employ. I don't know, where would I start? Because all of a sudden I've got this picture of 6 squares, and I've got to tell them why they need to employ this person. The thing is, that person is someone that's totally against being employed, that's totally against being in a 9-to-5 job, and it's like, and I'm just spitting shit now, aren't I? It's like, how can I convince myself that I'm even a person that can interact in this world when I'm telling people that I'm from Mars and that, you know, I can do all these superpowers? It's like it doesn't make sense. So what I've come to is, if someone asks me, I just tell them the truth. Like complete honesty, complete transparency, all the way. And that's working for me so far, because I can't keep pretending to be multiple people. That's schizophrenia.
It's technically multiple personality disorder or dissociative personality disorder.
That's not healthy. I'll send you crazy.
But the believing you're from Mars probably could be classed as schizophrenia. But you know, one of those,
unless it's
those
true.
Psychiatrists know anyway. Yeah, exactly. If it's true, then it's not a delusion. But you know, it's only true if you believe it.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not a lie if you believe it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. This is important. I mean, if you're going to put that in context, how did that idea come up again?
How did it come up again?
Yeah, I mean, like, was ayahuasca saying, you know, this is all you are, a section of different stories?
No, because it's identity. It's not self. It's what it's what you portray, what you believe you are. It's not what you really are. I don't think that, I don't think there was an implication that those are really the same thing. But you can choose your identity. You can choose who you want to be, and you can align your actions with that, and then maybe you can align your reputation with that, I suppose. Maybe that's the point. Maybe that's how those puzzle pieces click together.
Well, a funny thing is just about us, because I know we've both done it, is we've changed our names several times.
Yeah.
It's like not everyone does that.
Well, yeah, I mean, people get nicknames bestowed on them. They don't normally choose their names. Yeah, it's true.
I mean, unless you're a Chinese or, exchange student of some kind and your name's too hard to pronounce, then all of a sudden they start calling you Emma or Jessica.
Yeah, that definitely happens, yeah.
But not in the same way that we changed our name. Because, I mean, I know I've asked you, like, Chertzu, what is that? And you've explained it to me.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
you
even...
probably forgot.
No, I know you were inspired by earlier readings, which I think is where the zoo came from. But the Chert, I can't remember. Yeah,
it's a kind of weird thing that I would even choose that as an MC name or a title. But it used to be Turd. That's what they called me in high school, and I guess it was just something that before my buddy Mick was my friend. He yelled it out of the bus window at me, "Hey, Turd!" Because my name Kurt kind of sounds like turd, and then I became Turd. And then later somebody said to me, "Shit!" Like they palatized the T sound, so it became a shit, like that. And then because I read these Taoist texts, Lao Tzu, and later Chuang Tzu, I put the Tzu on the end, and I thought that was pretty cool. But it's not good. I mean, it's not a good name in a marketing sense, or I can't tell anybody that name because they don't know how to write it. And now 6 months ago I put it on Steemit, which I don't know why did I choose that? I didn't think it's going to be on the blockchain. I'll never be able to change it. I shouldn't have put that on there. But well, there you go.
Well, it's
we are.
unique, and
Yes.
I think it ties back with keeping in touch with old friends. They ever want to know what Churdy Zoo's up to? They can they'll find you forever.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Well, that was another thing from my first ayahuasca trip, like, which I don't know if I fully explored that when we talked about it, but it was like, that 17-year-old egotistical, narcissistic, or whatever I was, power hungry, I don't know what, that's still a part of me.
Yeah.
But then, there's I'm just walking through this labyrinth of contradictions, and I wonder what the fuck is going on. Because if that's still a part of me, I mean, but on the other hand, I can choose my identity, but then I can choose my identity, but I have to worry about what other people will think of me. What is this? What is this nonsense? So that's a whole ball of thread that I have to unravel, and maybe I'll keep asking these questions.
Yeah, I think we're going to be asking these questions for a while, because it's just part of the human experience, especially in this world of abundance, when you can choose what color shirt and shoes you can put on, and whether your shoes do match your belt. And if someone's going to judge me on that, well then I don't know how much care I can extend to that. But the majority of time my belt doesn't match my shoes, and I'm wearing a shirt that's within a Carmen palette of blue. It's like, how much control do we have? I don't know.
All right. Well, let's finish on that note, shall we?
So there it is, episode 142. I hope you guys learnt something, because hey, we're a family friendly show, in that we want people to live a healthy, strong, good, exciting and happy life. So this is why we produce the content. This is what it's all about, sharing those ideas. And maybe it might be one little sentence in the whole episode that makes you think, what the hell? I don't know, makes you think, ooh, that's really cool, or I can share this. So please do. Share with your friends, please comment, do all that kind of stuff. That's what keeps us going. So, show notes, www.theparadiseparadox.com/142. That's going to have the related links, going to have the story, and it's going to have the episodes, the other episodes, also part 1, because this is part 2 of the second time Kurt did ayahuasca. So check out part 1 on the website. So I think that's going to be the end of that. That wraps that up perfectly. Don't forget to be love, don't forget to be generous, and don't forget to be yourself, because that's the only person that's going to be here. Peace.